Hey everyone, my name is Adi. In this tutorial, we will paint this together. We will use different watercolor techniques. Let's begin. I use masking tape to divide the paper. It will allow us to create this separation, this white line between the sky and the sea. I wet the area of the sky with water using a white brush. I use a rough paper. It has texture. We will talk about the reason why later on. I'm adding different blues and creating gradation. I make the upper part darker and the lower part lighter. Creating the rays of light. While the paint is still wet, I take a clean brush and use it to remove some of the paint. When the clean brush touches the paint, it collects the paint and cleans the paper. When repeating this action, clean the brush and wipe off the water from the brush after every time that you remove the paint. I add a mountain in dark blue. Mountains tend to get bluer the further away they are from us, and this one is very far. Moving on to the sea. I use blue mixed with a slightly green color. I'm going to use dry brush technique. So the paint that I use has only a bit of water. It's not diluted. Except for the horizon, it's better not to make straight lines when painting sea. I keep white border in some places, but let the sky and the sea merge in others. I use the side of the brush, and with fast brush strokes, I create dry brush effect. Some areas are going to stay in white. It's better to use rough paper or cold pressed paper with this technique, because the surface isn't smooth. It's easier for the paint to skip some areas. I recommend practicing on a draft paper before you try it on the painting. The white areas are sunlight reflected on the waves, the water. add darker color to the sea after the paint will dry. While I wait for it to dry, I continue to work on other parts of the painting. The sections of sea spray are much whiter, but we need to add color to them as well. I use a small brush and press it. I add a darker color for the darker places, the deeper areas. For the dripping technique, I use a very diluted paint, very watery paint. I hold the brush with one hand and tap on it with the other hand. I cover the areas that I don't want the dripping to go to with the paper. After the blue sea has dried, I can add darker color to it. The darker color helps to make the waves a bit more defined. Now I'm going to paint a thin layer of water, sea spray. I use dry brush technique because I want to have white sections and brown sections. I mixed raw sienna and yellow ochre. The edge of the wave is white. It's similar to lace because it has like holes in it. So I added brown dots. Now for the sand. I make the sand darker closer to the wave, the white edge, and I will add blue in it. I break down the waves into smaller sections. Waves don't walk as one unit. Each wave does its own thing, whatever it feels like doing. Let's add a small figure. First, I mark where the figure will be. I use the same proportions and the same technique that we used in the previous video. A dot for the head. The shoulders are 3 heads wide. We did new things in this tutorial that we haven't talked about in previous videos, but we also took elements from different videos and used them in new ways. And this is something very typical for drawing and painting. Anything you learn when creating one artwork can be useful for future artworks too. So that's why I think it's important to experiment and to try out new things. No matter what technique or media you use, or what subject you paint, you will take with you the experience you gained and the process of thinking. So when creating tutorials, I take the knowledge that I've collected over the years and pass it to you through workshops, one artwork at a time. I wanted to let the legs fade away, so the person will feel less disconnected and will fit in more with the rest of the painting. So I removed some of the paint in the same way that we did with the rays of light. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. See you soon. Bye bye.